everyone, and welcome to Voices of Hult. This is the third episode, and here we are with Rafa and our amazing guest, and Amalie. Can you please introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you guys for having me here.
Of course.
My name is Amalie. I am Norwegian, just moved to Boston here in Massachusetts in August of 2022. Because we are starting our own company, so Semasis US, I am the CEO of, and very excited to be taking part here today and share you all about my journey.
So basically, we met Amalie, right?
Yeah,
That's
Amalie.
how you should pronounce her name. And we met Amalie in one of the industry panel that was held here at Hult. And when we listened to her speaking, it was like, okay, we won her, we won in the podcast. Still, it was nothing settled down. It was at the very beginning of the first stages of the podcast. It was like, okay, she is gonna be one of the main speaker there.
Yeah, and actually that was our first industry panel, and Lidia and I was like, let's go there and see what's going on. We're gonna talk about sustainability, interesting, and then you were there, and we're like, oh, we just want to talk to you and maybe being part of the podcast. And that's how we end up here. So guys, go to the industry panels, do some networking. It's gonna be amazing.
Exactly. So sustainability is your passion, right?
Oh, 100%, 100%.
I can tell that.
Yeah, I can talk about sustainability all day long. But I actually chose Hult because I could do my MIB, so international business, and I did a specialization field back then in sustainability. So that was one of the main reasons why I did choose Hult.
I see. And how did this start? How did this passion started?
Good question. When did it start? So when I was doing my bachelor degree back in Norway, that's when I really understood that it was sustainability that I wanted to take part in. My undergrad is in marketing and sales management, so not in sustainability. But I quickly realized that is the pathway that I want to do. So I was a store manager back in Norway after my undergrad, and I worked there for 1.5 years.
Right.
And that's also, I tried to implement, some sustainability strategies there at the store. As you can see, there's tons of packaging in the retail industry.
I was going to ask you, can you give us one example?
Plastics all over. Every item is wrapped in plastic. So that's also why I got the passion for sustainability back then. So, and now it turns more into, how I can help the corporate world to implement more sustainability strategies and report on it, because that's so important for the stakeholders and society in general to really understand the practices of sustainability in the companies.
Got it. That's amazing. And what would you say, this Hult at any point of your career started talking to you about sustainability? Because we basically had this sustainability panel. So I think Hult is also talking about these, and you sharing your passion here was amazing.
Yeah, so back then, I graduated in 2017 from the San Francisco campus. And the main, so we had, marketing, accounting classes, but then for the past 3 months, or the last 3 months, I did a rotation in New York, and that's when I did a specialization in sustainability. So I could have, 3 months of pure classes on sustainability, and loved every single one of them.
And do you recall any professor here around that they were just giving with practical experiences?
100% shout out to Ted Ladd. Yeah. He is, of course, the most engaging professor, and he got some crazy stories that I always enjoyed listening into.
Nice. And how about how is your current job? How are you implementing sustainability in your current job right now?
Yeah, good question. So now I've actually been transitioning. So I become the CEO of our US division, but I worked as a sustainability consultant back in Norway for the past 4.5 years. And that was amazing. You're helping clients and you're helping corporations that are global, how they can implement sustainability strategies, how they can report on it, producing their carbon accounting reports and, sustainability reports. frameworks. And using the international frameworks is a great way to also grasp how they can move forward as well and how they can be more aligned with the regulation and the framework. So it's a great way to actually show the gaps of where they are, but also where they should be. So we're using the frameworks to say that this is best practice and this is how you should do it. But now in my current role, I'm transitioning more into, the administrative role.
Got it.
And the most exciting here is that when I was working as a sustainability consultant, I had my direct impact with the companies. But now I get to teach new employees how they can become the best consultant for their own and how I can generate my impact through our great team of now new consultants. So I'm doubling or tripling my impact. So I love it.
That's
Definitely
amazing. You're sharing your
interesting.
passion, so and making some people like work on it too. So
It's amazing. I love it. Every day I wake up and I love to go to work.
This is actually the goal. That is the goal.
It's the goal. I agree.
We at the moment are looking for internships, and most of us even are planning to apply for some jobs here in the United States or all around actually the world. And I think that the main goal of many people is just to find the right job but you wake up in the morning and say, you know what?
I'm going to work.
Yes, today, you know what? I'm going to work. And achieving like the level that you are right now, it's admirable. And so I wanted to tell you, like, how did you achieve this? Like, in the sense that, I'm sure that it was super tough at the very beginning. How was like the recruiting process? Was it all clear? Like you said it before, that it was kind of a clear instinct for your passion. But how did you go for like being a student, unemployed, to be like the CEO of a company?
It was tough. I'm not going to lie. So when I graduated back in 2017 and knew that my passion was in sustainability, there was not that many jobs there out there yet. So when I was here in the US, obviously that was my goal, to stay here for a bit. So when I graduated, and even months before that, I started to apply for all the different companies. But back then it was, the sustainability director of Nike or of Tiffany. So it wasn't that much out there for an entry-level position. I even called down United Nations in New York, and I was like, I got the education, I'm ready to do the work. And they were all like, you don't have any experience. So, I've been working in retail for many years, but I did not have any sustainability experience, and there was no entry-level positions. So that was tough. So I did not get a job here in the US, and I went back to Norway and did the applications from there. Again, not that many entry-level positions. So I quickly realized that I needed to do an internship or a trainee program. And that's what I found, an internship in Brussels at CSR Europe, which was kind of like Europe's hub for nonprofits when working with corporate social responsibility. So that was a trainee for 6 months, and I got to work in sustainability strategies with companies and their reporting routine. So it was kind of like a pre-way into the consulting role. So I learned a lot during that time.
There's consistency here. I very much admire that. Like you saw your path and you were like, you know what? I want to work in sustainability. This is the difficult path that I have to take. Well, let's do it.
Yeah, but also, it's a privilege that I knew that early on that I knew what I wanted to do. So I think that's a privilege. So my internship there in Brussels, Belgium ended on a Friday. And then I was moving back to Norway, and I was texting my dad to say, okay, on Monday, I'm coming back to the airport. Please pick me up. On Tuesday, I have my new interview at Semasus back in Oslo, so please remember that. And then I also said, and Wednesday, they're going to call me to say that I got the job, so buy champagne.
And it happened?
And it happened.
It's true.
Sometimes, life just happens. So I went back to Norway on the Monday. He picked me up. I had my interview on Tuesday, and they called me Wednesday to say that I got the job.
That's so good. Just like listening to your story, that there's a lot of people here. I just want to encourage everyone that even if you don't get a job position or whatever, you just have to be consistent, keep looking forward, like Amalie did back in time, because look at her right now. Like she was really consistent, and she did great. Like she also had to go back home
I would say that.
What about the emotions that you were like feeling at that moment?
Oh,
Because
it's tough. It's tough.
I've been applying to some places and I've been rejected already.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh.
Yeah, I had, 6 months with pure rejection from when I graduated in August until I went to Brussels in, when was it? March or April. Yeah. So it was 6 months with just pure applying every day, nonstop. And I got the rejections. Yeah.
I mean, like, as you said, you had the privilege to know before what you were passionate about. But like us, sometimes just like receiving a no can help us, just like redirecting a little bit better where to go.
Yeah.
And say, okay, you know what, maybe that field, that work, that role was not for me. Let's search for something else. And like searching, like you can find so many jobs that like seriously, do not even think that they existed.
Yeah.
So
100%. And, I did connections on LinkedIn. Hult always, told you about, getting those connections. So I reached out through LinkedIn, and I met with a great people in Norway that were doing a lot of great stuff in sustainability, and they gave me their connections. So it just keeping the ball rolling.
So we said that Hult taught you a lot about sustainability, mostly in the campus in New York, having amazing teachers all around. But what is the thing that Hult taught you the most, that taught you that you are currently using the most at your current job?
So I thought about this, and currently what I am doing the most, and this is actually really weird, the accounting class at Hult.
Okay. I think you mentioned something about Excel.
Yeah, Excel as well, because in the accounting class we had a lot of Excel, and our professor, he mentioned that if you don't start doing Excel, or if you don't get comfortable in Excel, working in business is going to be really hard.
Really hard, yeah.
And then I was just laughing in my mind. I was like, I'm never going to have a job where I have to use Excel every day. And I use it every single day. And even in accounting, we learned balance sheets and financial statements and setting those up. And now in the role as CEO, that's what I use a lot as well. So accounting class, it's not the most fun, but
Shout out to accounting class.
Go and take those accounting classes.
Take those.
That's good. And you were also mentioning how Hult was encouraging you to do some connections and stuff. Tell us a little bit about your networking life. I love networking and I love going out, making friends, being in every event. And I think you're doing the same, and we're actually doing it right now.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about like how networking helped you to get where you are right now.
Yeah, networking is great. One thing is fun, obviously.
Totally.
But also I love that they set you up for success by pretty early on getting your resume done, getting your LinkedIn done, setting up a profile, start getting those connections. They always encourage us to add alumni. Same with me now. If I ever see somebody that has been or is studying at Hult, I always accept them connections as well. So I think it's a great alumni network. You could use it for business. I've had business opportunities just because we're alumni, and that's how we're connecting. Becoming friends just because you have something in common right away. So connections is great, and Hult really set you up for that.
So we're gonna put like the link of your LinkedIn and guys, Hult students.
I'll accept.
Reach out.
And definitely, like as you were saying, like you can meet someone and then like discover that you do have a very good passions, like you can share and become friends.
Absolutely, yeah. And you have something in common right away, because it takes a certain mindset to leave your friends and family and move to a different city. So you have something in common right away. You have the common ground.
Definitely. Like I think that you're feeling a little bit like home in the sense.
Oh, 100%. Going into the campus, I love it. Yeah.
And like even building your own home, you know, like as we were saying in the first episode.
Yes, I was mentioning that.
We do have our home back in our home country.
Yeah.
Yet here we are all new. Like Hult is literally our world inside the building.
Yes.
And we have to build our own, I wouldn't say bubble because it's not a bubble, but like our home itself, you know, what that is made with connections, people, and of course even things, but precisely experiences that you will definitely remember in your future.
Absolutely.
Yes, I think that that been here for 4 months already, and I personally, I'm like already thinking like, what's gonna happen when I'm get graduated? Like, what's gonna like where my friends gonna go? Can you tell us a little bit about how your friends and connections outside of the professional world is going on right now? You introduced us to one of your friends, Luca, and you said you were going to skiing, so that keeps happening. So you can just go out to the world with friends and stuff, right?
Even if you live in two completely different continents as well.
Absolutely. And, I've been living back in Norway for the past 4 years. So, but we've been having reunions. I went to a wedding in India.
Wow.
So we've been traveling all over pre-pandemic. And it was amazing. And even though you still maybe see each other once or twice, or maybe not even on an annual basis, it still feels like you're best friends when you see each other. It's great. And also for connections in terms of business, we keep connecting each other to other business connections. We talk about our businesses. It's the same people that has usually, the same drive and ambition as you as well. So it's great to have those conversations. And I've been skiing with a lot of them in Thanksgiving. It's great. I'll see them, this year for sure now that I'm also in the US.
Yeah, I think like this thing in common that we all have here is the whole DNA, as we call it.
Yeah.
So we are so similar at the same time, and like I don't know, that helps a lot. And I think one more thing that I would like to ask you would be, if you have to go back in time to be a student again, what would you do it different? Like, what would you recommend us to change or whatever you did back in time to us and to everyone who's listening to us?
Yes. Okay. So you mentioned you've been there 4 months. So coming back from Christmas break now in January, I would also recommend you guys to not just stay with the friends that you've gotten to know for the past 4 months, because a couple of my best friends I met during graduation week as well.
Oh,
and then we started living together as well back in New York. So you have a lot more friends than. Or you have a lot more new possibilities of new friends than what your core group is right now.
That's right.
So I would also recommend, to expand that group, because so you don't lose one of your potential best friends in the future.
That's actually to reconnect to the topic that we were saying before. Yeah. We were building our home, but still that doesn't mean that we are
set. Right.
Exactly. Yeah. We have to welcome even other people that at the very beginning might be strangers, but might turn out to be your next best friend or next roommate.
Yeah, so you haven't met all the people that you like yet.
That is really good advice.
Yeah.
I think I do have a group of friends that I'm always with, and I try to be with them all the time. Exactly.
I'm part of it.
And it's really good advice, like trying to go like a little bit outside of that comfortable group. I think that's networking also. So yeah, there could be amazing people out there, and hopefully we meet more people, like, being friends forever.
Yeah, honestly, you will. And one more thing, utilize the career services as well. So, I had some great conversations with the career services back in San Francisco, but I probably didn't utilize it as much as I should have. Time goes by very fast, so you keep saying that you're going to go back there, you keep saying that you're going to follow up on the conversations and do what they're asking you to do, but then life happens and you're very busy, but I would encourage you to set it in your schedule.
Amazing. Yeah, I've been there, and actually I've been working a lot with all the advices of how to apply to different companies. I have one question. Is your company hiring?
I know. Always Hult, always ask about this. All international students. So we will hire and recruit a lot this year. Obviously, sustainability is growing, and the US has new regulations coming up. So yes. But we have to say that we do not sponsor visas. So that is one of the main, I know for Hultians, that is one of the main requests. And for internships, we haven't put that, we haven't implemented any internships yet, just because what we do is very, I wouldn't say complex, because you can easily learn it, but it takes you, up to 3 months, just to get the groundwork of it.
Correct.
So usually we don't have any internships because we don't have that much they can do, basically. But if you do have a visa that is valid for more than 3 years, that is something that we can look into.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing then.
Of course.
So I think that's pretty much it. Thank you for being with us. It's snowing today.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a
Very
magical
cold.
day.
Maybe it's because I'm Norwegian, you know.
yeah.
I just
Maybe
brought
that
it with me.
Meant to be.
Yeah.
It was meant to be.
Meant to be. You're welcome.
I'm not used to snow. We don't have snow in Peru, so every time I'm like, well, this is not just rain. It's actually
Did you
snow.
look up Boston before you came?
Yes, I did. And everyone was like, and I was living in Miami, so everyone was like,
What is this?
what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I was like, stepping up my career. But
Going
yeah,
out of your comfort zone, you see?
exactly. Like I embrace this snow now. So
Good,
I'm all
good.
geared up and I'm ready to go. So
Perfect.
With your boots and not sneakers,
yeah,
right?
I had yesterday I made a bad decision going out with just regular shoes, and no, don't do that in winter.
Because Boston can be pretty cold, and we just like experienced the very beginning of the winter, but still. So.
Yeah, this is the beginning, I feel like, yeah.
Oh my god. Winter's coming.
So if you are like a winter lover, like Boston is a city for you, definitely.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, we'll go to San Francisco.
I love
Yeah.
the city anyways. I can't complain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But well, thank you
Well,
so much. Thank
thank
you,
you.
everyone. Thank you, Amalie.
Amalie.
Yeah, thank you for having
time.
me.